sort of metallic tools there. Of course, stones were cut and dressed, or wood was dressed outside the temple site using metallic tools. But once moved into the temple site, tradition has it that no metal tools were used. To remind you that you are entering a temple modeled after King Solomon's temple, you are deprived of all your metals. It also has got your fellow craft, your first degree intellectual charge, charity charge, where you are supposed to be in a abject poverty, having nothing with you. It will remind you of that also. Blindfolded, blindfolded, blindfolded as a token, a signal that you are being reborn. We call our Masonic admission as an initiation. Initiation has been practiced across all cultures over many millennia. The African tribals have it, the Red Indians have it, the Hindus have it, Christians have it, Jews have it, Muslims have it. Circumcision is an initiative rite. Baptism is an initiative rite. Sacred court ceremony, Brahmins, is an initiative rite. So on and so forth. Initiation has been practiced across all cultures. It indicates a rebirth from a state of poor knowledge or unknowingness into a state of knowledge. Similarly, when you enter into a Masonic temple, you are being initiated and being shown for the first time the light of Masonic knowledge. To symbolize you being revealed the light of Masonic knowledge, you are initially blindfolded, and the blindfold is removed at the appropriate time. So that could be the simplest explanation of why being you are blindfolded.
Metal being polluting, but working tool is just a made of metal.
Which working tool? No, the temple was built without using metal tools at the site of construction. The stone was dressed with metal tools outside the site, at the quarries. The wood was felled with axes, planed, sawed, cut into sizes, all that, outside the temple site with metal tools. Once they were brought into the temple site, it was not used. This is again tradition. We don't know. We don't know how much of truth is there in what is written in the Bible. We take it as 100% true. It may not be. That's also there. Yes, sir.
The winding staircase, counterclockwise.
Again, this question is a very difficult question to answer, because this winding staircase was drawn by one gentleman called Harris, who designed the tracing boards. We are copying Harris's design, mostly. Of course, there are other designs of tracing boards also, and there are tracing boards where the winding staircase is shown in a different place or in a slightly different fashion. And whether King Solomon's temple did have a winding staircase at all, we don't know. How did it go into the middle chamber? We really don't know. It's all guesswork. And therefore, we should not make too much out of that particular issue. And for our youngsters, Freemasonry is essentially a science of symbols and allegory. Do not take every single word in your ritual book as absolute gospel truth, and do not try to find out 100% correlation between all the sentences and all the paragraphs written within the ritual book. If you do so, you will find lots of anomalies. And those anomalies are there for whatever reasons, we don't know. But if you look at the whole picture, look at the lessons of Masonry, they make a very cogent, sensible lessons. And that's all that we need to take home from our ritual, rather than trying to split hairs by dissecting out every single sentence one by one and seeing if it matches exactly with what is written, say, 100 sentences later. It will not make sense at all. There are lots of such discrepancies which we can list out, enjoy, laugh, but ultimately the lessons of the ritual are unchanging and they are there for you to enjoy, learn, benefit. I think I've taken quite a lot of time.
One small,
Yes, sir.
exactly on simple one doubt I want. Because of suddenness I am not able to.
Take your time, take your time.
When Master Mason joins the conclave, after the rituals are almost complete, suddenly out of the blue, one of the seniors says, and the lad knew nothing. There is no contest I could find among them.
I don't know how many of you are here there in the conclave, but it is not out of the blue. It makes sense after the meeting. It makes a lot of sense. After the meeting, catch me, but no. Yes, sir. Comfort, aching back. Old man after all. Anything else? I think I'll stand down. Thank you very much.
What can I say about Dr. P.K. Muthukumaraswamy? I find words inadequate to thank him. The topic, why we do what we do, should be an eye-opener to all of us. I now request Right Worshipful Brother Dr. John Reginald to come over and say the importance of rituals.
Worshipful Master, Right Worshipful, the Regional Grand Master of Southern India, Right Worshipful, the Regional Grand Master of Eastern India, Most Worshipful Brother Balram Biswakumar, and the other dignitaries and the dais, and my dear brethren. I have been given a topic to discuss with all of you almost at the tail end. There is always a route of escape. When many speakers have already spoken, and then we are called on to speak after some time, you can always hold your hand and say, thank the organizers for calling you to speak, and they say, whatever thoughts I had in my mind, my colleagues have already spoken, and they say they don't want to bore you anymore, and then get out. But I will not take such an easy route. I will engage you with me for a short time on the importance of ritual. An English essayist, almost about 80 years ago, wrote a beautiful essay called Expectations. And then he begins the essay by saying, familiarity breeds contempt. On the other hand, it also breeds liking. That's exactly what our rituals are. Month after month, year after year, lodge after lodge, we keep on listening to the same ritual. But we never get tired of listening to the ritual because it always keeps on enriching your mind with new knowledge. And why this ritual at all? Why couldn't we just make a few lectures, tell people this is what you should do and this is what you should not do? That could be very easy. But you make everything in a very dramatic form. As a matter of fact, in one of the degrees it is said, this is done in a very dramatic manner to make a lasting impression upon your heart. So this is exactly what the rituals are meant for. It is not just a communication of just words, but the meaning of the words. You can keep on listening to the ritual. So somebody who has got a very good memory can repeat the ritual without even a single mistake. But unless you understand the meaning of the words in the ritual, it does not make any sense at all. What is the most important thing in Masonry? In Masonry, as it has been written there, you go to the temple of Delphi, the oracle of Delphi, what is written there is know thyself. This is something very important. On the other hand, it is through the ritual that you have a self-knowledge, the knowledge of your own self. If you do not have a knowledge of your own self, there is no foundation on which you build any character. So the first thing you ought to know is your own self. So if you come to the Oriental philosophy, and then you take two things, one is the Jivatma and the other is the Paramatma. What is our intention? So by practicing a certain type of life, by living in a certain type of manner, and then have the satisfaction of your own soul, ultimately you try to reach the standards or the levels of the Paramatma. It is not possible for you to reach that level because our own rituals say perfectness does not belong to us. Perfectness is not given to man, but perfect holiness belongeth only to the Lord. So, but yet you try to achieve a certain standard by these rituals. That is why it is very important for a person not to just learn the ritual, but learn the meaning of the ritual. Take, for instance, the charity charge. In some of the lodges, this is done in a very, very impressive manner. So when the charity charge is given, they collect the charity. When everybody walks up and then gives the charity, the candidate is left all alone because he wants to give it, he has got the desire to do it, but he is unable to do it. That makes a lasting impression in his mind. So this is again and again, the rituals are done in such a manner so that you start understanding every word of the ritual. That makes a very important lifestyle for you. And I'm sure any one of you have been going through Masonry for several years. After a certain time, when you are quite tired of listening just to the words, you start thinking. Today we could see, because so many of you asked questions, and the Right Worshipful Brother Muthukumar Swami was clarifying all your doubts, because you started thinking. So once you start thinking, then you start understanding the ritual. And the ritual is like a great teacher. It is said that an ordinary average teacher teaches. A good teacher explains. An excellent teacher transforms. See, this is what we want in a ritual. See, the ritual is there not to just tell you something, just to explain something. On the other hand, it brings about a transformation in yourself. And people like Wilmshurst, they go on to the next stage. It is not just an ordinary transformation of just mind or your attitude or your behavior. There is a transmutation in you. So your entire self changes. Your thought processes change. Your behavior with others change. That is the intention of practicing all these rituals. And my dear brethren, I want to be very short. I don't want to keep you engaged. Already you have been listening to very heavy subjects for a long time. Learn the ritual. And as you are learning the ritual, try to understand every sentence that is spoken. And for your entire lifestyle, at every situation, like reading the Bible, or reading Bhagavad Gita, or reading Quran, every instruction is given. So I'm sure all of you remember that in the charge after initiation, how to live, what are your responsibilities to yourself, to your nation, and to your neighbor, everything is talked about. The only thing that it doesn't talk about is your responsibility to your wife. Unfortunately, this has become such a male-exclusive organization, we forget there is a female partner there at home. So, see, this kind of, if you start reflecting on this ritual and start understanding the ritual, and I'm sure you will attain a state of mind in which you just cannot err. As it is said, your master mason can never err. You cannot err at all. So it is, of course,